Getting back to zero. Good morning and welcome to another video. If you don't know already, I'm Tommy Trades. I'm a full-time reseller based here in the UK, selling on eBay, Vinted, whatnot, documenting it here on YouTube for you. So it's Monday today, we've just had the weekend and it's been a bit of a weird one for me. If you saw my latest video, you would have heard that I was struggling a little bit with things. It's been really slow in terms of sales and I've just been trying to do whatever I can to get some traction moving, picking up free things on the street, getting promotions adjusted in my store, setting up multi-buy listings, adding coupons in, discounts, all sorts of stuff, whatever I can do to move the needle. Now, we had a bit of a situation last week that I have covered a little bit here and there, but I want to fully go into it for you here today. So I sold a coat, a Henry Lloyd extra large sailing jacket, brand new with the tags, Gore-Tex. It was £250, full asking price plus postage that the buyer paid. Brand new, never opened, never worn before, minty condition. Buyer receives the order, has it for a couple of days, and then they send me a message saying, I want to return the item because it has a really funny smell to it. It smells damp or like it's been stored somewhere damp. And I'm like, I have no idea how, because it's literally brand new with tags, dead stock from Henry Lloyd, that has never been stored anywhere damp to my knowledge. It's never been stored anywhere damp in here because it's only been in my storage system in my house and there's no damp in this room. And I checked it before I listed it. I got Gigi to sniff check it before I listed it just to make sure as well, because I was putting it up for a good amount of money. I wanted to make sure that we weren't kidding ourselves. And we both agreed that it actually smells quite nice. It's got that fresh new material kind of smell. And I was trying to say to the buyer, are you sure it doesn't just smell like the new material? And they were like, it's definitely not a new material smell. And to be fair to them, they didn't get angry. They weren't mad. They weren't an abusive buyer. They were very calm, patient, and understanding with the whole process. It's just where towards the end, things started to get a little bit weird, that my doubts and suspicions came in a little bit. And these were actually raised by eBay themselves. So they've requested a return. I've accepted the return. Come on, here's your label. I bought a label and sent it to them. I sent a message saying I've purchased a label. You should have received it. If you can stick that on the item and send it back, yeah, I'll have it back in no time. Here's where it went a bit weird. Instead of them using my postage label, they actually went and purchased a label of their own, which was even better than the label I had purchased. So I think mine was a Royal Mail 48 hours, a standard thing. And they actually purchased the special delivery by 1 p.m. for the item to make sure I would get it the next day. And I think because it was such a high value item, they wanted to make sure it was there as well. So I thank them, thank you for taking that extra step and getting a better service than what I had. But the problem with this is that the label I created was linked directly to the return. So even though I've now received the item back, on eBay, it states that I haven't got the item and that the buyer still has it. So I could issue a refund from this point, but I would actually be saying that I'm allowing the buyer to keep the item and I'm issuing them a refund, which isn't what happened. I have received the item back and then I'm issuing a refund, basically. But I went to try and refund them anyway. And when I got to the refund screen, it was showing me how they'd bought it for £250, what I made from the sale, and then how much I had to pay them back, because you get certain fee credits. Depending on how many fees you paid, you get credits of that towards the refund. So if I only made 170 odd pounds from the sale, why should I have to refund them £250? Because I didn't make that extra bit. That's technically a scam and they're making money off of me or something, right? Or I'm losing money somehow. Anyway, long story short, I phoned eBay. I was speaking to someone on the phone, explaining the issue, and I was just trying to say, I just want to make sure that I get my credits in this return, because there's £30 in promoted fee, there's £30 in transaction fees, there was other fees as well. It was 80 odd pounds in fees from this transaction, and I don't want to lose out on that. And I was trying to explain this to the person on the phone, and it didn't seem like they were understanding what I was actually trying to say. They did in the end, and eventually they understood everything, and they were trying to sort of manually override the return as well by updating the postage to what I had provided, or what the customer had provided, but they couldn't do that either. So what happened was they closed the case in my favor. saying I'm happy to refund the buyer, and they've noted on there that I've got the item back and it's in perfect sellable condition. They also asked me to report the buyer because they've misused the return system by not using the label I have provided, and they also used the return reason to say the item was damaged and that it smells, when the item isn't damaged and it doesn't smell. But where eBay manually took over in this transaction, I wasn't able to issue the refund myself. I couldn't click refund. I couldn't link it to my bank account to pay it from my bank account to just get this over and done with. So what happened instead was my eBay store went to minus £255.46 to cover the initial cost of the item plus the postage. Now, I've been stressing all weekend thinking I've been scammed out of that 80 quid. All of this refund money is now all just me working back to zero so that I can start earning cash again as soon as I get there. So I've had £220 worth of sales this weekend, and yet I only have £10 in my available funds. That's because all of these sales have just gone to work away that number. And I guess it works out the same, really, doesn't it? Like, whether I was getting the money from these sales come through afterwards, or whether it was coming out of these sales and it came out of my bank account, like, we get to the same result in the end. But it's just been so frustrating looking at a minus number, working my way to zero, even though I've made some great sales this weekend. I don't know. It just feels weird, man. It feels weird. I'd rather know I'm actually getting that money come in and like know that the refund has come out of my bank account and I can show that as a transaction, as a refund. Whereas I can't do that anymore. It all has to be from my eBay transactions and my eBay funds. Anyway, there's enough of me waffling about that, but I just wanted to cover that situation because I've basically been spending all weekend just working my way back to zero. I feel like I've made no money, even though I've sold some of my good stuff. We did do a Whatnot show on Sunday as well, and that brought in some extra dosh. So we did a toys and collectibles show. We did about £150, £148. And then after fees, I think we're at 110. So we didn't sell as many items as the show we did previously, but the items we did sell, we were able to sell them for more money. So each time that you sell it for more money on Whatnot, they sort of take less percentage from you. So if you sell more items at £1, they're going to take 59p in fees, or you get 59p out of that transaction. Whereas if you sell something for £2 or £3, you might make £2.60 of that transaction, or £2.70 of that transaction. So you get to keep more of your money the bigger the sale is. A lot of the items in this one, they sold for £2 or more, meaning that we got to keep a lot more of that. But sticking true to what I said, I can't just rely on eBay at the moment. I'm spreading myself out. eBay, Vinted, Whatnot, and whatever I can bring in is all helping to fund me getting back to zero and then back into profit. But that's enough of me waffling. You probably want to know what's sold, right? So let's get straight into it. Got some clothing bits, some non-clothing bits. Let's keep this interesting for you. First up is two sales that actually came in this morning, and I was happy to take it because I was still in minus a little bit. And these two sales just brought me back to zero and then £10 into my available funds. Let's go. Item number 155 and item number 100. Let's get them out. 155 and 100. Item number 155 is Topshop Jeans Women's 28 waist, 32 leg, slimming mum fit blue medium denim. Took an offer on them, £4. Let's just get them gone. They're also cross-listed over to Vinted, and I've got them up there for £3, so an extra £1, but we've obviously got fees to come into that. But they did also pay £3.99 postage for this, so that always helps out. Then the other one is one I've had for a while now, but I knew it would sell eventually for around 15 to 20 quid. I was originally aiming for 25, but that was too high for the item. But it is DC Shoes Apparel Division Tartan Navy Lightwear Arcade Windbreaker Coat Small. I think I paid a maximum of £5 for this in a charity shop. About a year ago, maybe less than that, maybe 6 months ago. But we sold them for £15, and for some reason there was free shipping on that. Not sure why there was free shipping, because I've recently updated my entire store to have one postage rule, setting up my business policies and then the postage policy, and I've applied that to the entire store. So I'm not too sure how this has got away with being free postage. Recently, I've been getting around to my shoes, getting them all sorted, scrubbing them all up, getting them nice and clean and fresh. And then I did my first batch of photography on them all the other day. And we've had our first sale come through. These are K2 Striker snow boots, ski boots, snowboarding boots, whatever you want to call them. Plenty of grip still left on there, just a little bit of a rubbing at the back there. All shown in the photos, of course. It does have like an inner piece as well, so you can actually take this inner lining out and that fits around your whole foot to protect it. But these are called K2 Striker Snowboard Boots Men's UK 11. I think they were up for $29.99 or $34.99, but we sold them for £27 plus $3.99 postage, £30, 99p all in. And I actually think these were a street find originally as well. I believe I found them on the street. We've took them in, we've cleaned them up, we've got them sold. Next item's a bit of a random one, but that's what I love eBay for. That's why I love selling on this platform. It's the weird, the wonderful, the random finds that really fill me with joy when they sell. I have sold this once before, and then the person immediately cancelled, saying they didn't realise that the postage was so much with a GSP sale. But I've relisted him back up, and we've got the sale again. So the sale I'm talking about is Peggy-O the plush bear. If you've never seen this before, it is a Grateful Dead beanie bear Peggy-O plush doll. Liquid Blue is the company that makes the plushes, and this is dated the 12th of the 9th, 1993, and it's still brand new with the tag. So at the Grateful Dead concerts, and I think they were doing a tour, they had these lines of plush, and then there were certain plushies that became more rare than other ones. But we got this guy sold for $24.99 plus $3.99 postage. The buyer did actually take advantage of a 20% off coupon that I sent out to my previous buyers from the past 30 days. So they're technically a repeat buyer from the last 30 days, but it doesn't show that on the transaction for some reason. But all in, £22.98. I think he cost me 99p to 1.99 in a charity shop. I had absolutely no idea what this was, but I picked up a load of books off of the street for free. I listed a bunch of them over to eBay, the ones that seemed worth it, that had sales history and value behind them. A bunch of the others I sent off to Ziffit and got like 45 quid for them. And the others I sold as one bulk lot on eBay, and someone collected them for 35 quid. This is the last book, or the second to last book. There's one more in there. Mrs. Gaskell was The Life of Charlotte Bronte, second print 1973, cased hardback book. So it's a hardback in one of these little case things. We sold that one for $14.99 plus $3.99 postage, and they used the 20% off coupon. So again, a previous buyer, but it's not showing a repeat buyer in the transaction. So all in, £15.98. Now this next one actually took me a little while to get around to listing them, and it's also taken a bit longer for them to actually sell. I think I paid £2 originally for these, 99p each, so £2 all in. And of course I'm talking about South Park double-sided puzzles. Original 1999 Comedy Central 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzles. Two of those we sold for £12 plus $3.99 postage, so $15.99 all in. We did actually go through and count all of these pieces out as well. So inside I have bagged all of the pieces up just so they're not rattling around, and it makes it a bit more pleasant for the buyer to receive the item. Another pair of shoes that only got listed up recently that's already sold. These literally sold the day I listed them as well. And when that happens, I always feel like I missed a trick, or I just had an item that everyone is actually looking for. But they are Skechers air-cooled memory foam size UK 6 slip-on shoes. They've got this like leopard print to them there. All of the shoes I have cleaned, deep cleaned in the sink, scrubbed them with a brush, scrubbed the hell out of these things, taken them out. I've used pink stuff on the bottom to clean them up. I've re-scrubbed them all over again. I've put the spray in it to all freshen it up and everything. I don't really know what else I can do at this point to make these shoes be any more back to life. There was one pair though, and I've actually put it in this bag because they smell, man. They smell bad. Now these are a pair of Adidas Predator Malice Control rugby boots. These are very expensive boots. Brand new, there's like listings up for like 197 quid, 200 and something pounds. I did see one sold of like a signed pair for some reason, go for like 50 quid, which seems a bit weird when signed stuff normally makes the value go skyrocket. But these are fully clean. There's not a mark on these things anymore. They're so clean, but they just smell weird. And I think it's because I left them wet for too long. Like I cleaned them all and then I had them up hanging up drying, but they weren't actively over a radiator or anything like that. And I didn't want to mess up like the plasticky kind of leather on the item, thinking that the heat might destroy the glue in the little rubber bits. So I thought it would be the best practice to follow, but it's actually left the shoes to be really smelly. So if I did sell these to someone and they received them, I don't think they'd be very happy, and I'd definitely be getting a negative feedback. So if you guys have any advice to freshen up smelly shoes like this that are already 100% clean, let me know. Do I have to just rewash these all over again and then dry them quicker next time? Like, what is actually the best practice to follow with this? I have sprayed them with the nice fresh shoe spray, but that seems to just make a weird mix of like damp, old, smelly feet and new linen smell. So it's not ideal. Any advice, let me know down below. Also let me know, how much would you list them for? I had them up at $89.99 before I realised they were way too smelly and I took them off for the meantime. But back to the Skechers. We sold these for £20 and then they used the 20% off code. Again, another repeat buyer that isn't telling me it's a repeat buyer. What is actually the definition for a repeat buyer? If someone has bought something from my store and then they've used a coupon to buy something from my store again, to me, that's a repeat buyer. Or does it have to be within 24 hours, within 48 hours, 72 hours? What's the invisible time frame on this? Does anyone know? $19.99 all in. Next clothing sale, item number 670, one of the more recent ones that I've got listed up. Falmer Heritage Women's UK 20 light blue jeans. I accepted a best offer on these. I think I had them up for $17.99. And then again, where I've just been like, I need to get back to zero as quickly as possible so we can start making some profit. I was pretty much happy to accept anything that came in. So with $3.99 postage, I think they sent an offer for £8. It's $11.99 all in. And then as promised, the best sale until last. Let me grab these out for you. Now, I've had these listed a little while. I've had them for even longer. These were originally given to me by my granddad-in-law. What is that even a thing? My step-granddad? I don't know. Let's just call him my granddad. I was given these by my granddad many, many years ago when I was a kid, and I used to be obsessed with them every time I went over his house. They originally came with like a wooden shelf unit as well, which I did have, but I've lost that over time. And I would have included that because it does increase the value on this. But this is the entire collection of Maestio Harley Davidson motorbikes. I have like tried to wrap all of this stuff up as much as possible. All of these were individually wrapped in bubble wrap and protective padding and stuff like that. So I'm going to repackage all of these up before I post them out. It's going to be a mission. But this is what I'm talking about. Maestio Harley Davidson die-cast models. Really, really good condition. Steering wheels on there. The wheels turn round. You've got little stands that you can kick out to actually have all the motorbikes stand up as well. But that's one of them. There's another look at another one there. I originally had these up for like $149.99. Looking at, because it's a whole collection, like the entire collection of them, I thought that is the way to go. You want to price it high and then come down. But I may have shot myself in the foot a little bit here and given away more than I actually should have. So I reduced it down to just get it sold at $79.99. I was happy to see it sell for that price, but they did use a 20% off coupon. So they used a 20% off coupon on $79.99 plus $3.99 postage. We got $63.99 all in. Now, I'm very happy with that sale. Don't get me wrong. That's the best sale of the weekend, and that's helped us get back to zero and slowly into the profit again. But it's just that feeling of, have I given away a little bit too much here? Oh, well, let's just be grateful for the money we have made. Let's hope that the person who receives them enjoys their new collection, and we keep on rolling, baby. I'll pop some of the photos up from the listing so that you can actually see the bikes a bit better, because it's way easier to see them from the photos than me like showing each individual bike to you. But that's all our sales from the weekend on eBay. That brings us to £220.81 in total sales. So that's before fees and all that sort of stuff is included. We haven't had any sales on Vinted this weekend. I've been still cross-listing 10 a day over to the platform, but it's just been dead for me this time. Not really sure what's going on there. I am currently negotiating for a motorcycle jacket on Vinted at the moment. I had it up for a $75 or $79.99. Someone showed interest. I sent an offer for 60. They countered at 50. I've countered at 55. I know it's cheeky, but I want to try and get as much as I can from it. But hopefully that sale comes through and there's another 50 quid in the bank. And then, like I said, we did our Whatnot show on Sunday. So there's about £110 in return, 148 before fees in orders already packed downstairs. I packed them all up on Sunday. It was like a chill working day, basically, in my pajamas, but we got it done. But I'm going to get these orders packed up and posted out. Thank you very much for joining me in today's video. And if you want to see what £100 looks like from one charity shop, click this video right here and I'll see you there. Peace.